welcome back YouTube. So during the short break between this episode and last, I have come to the conclusion that unless the weather's going to play along, which it doesn't seem to be for the moment, that it is probably time to give up on trying to map Bleak Inlet. Instead, it's probably time to go for a fishing trip because we are surprisingly short on lantern oil. And the best place to get that is from fishing. I'm not getting any fish. And the best place to get fish is from fishing. So, time to probably go back to our fishing spot in Coastal Highway and doing a bit of fishing. And then we can always come back down here. Hopefully next time I'm going to bring a little bit more coal. And maybe a little bit lighter of equipment set. One thing I'm hoping to see as we leave the Master Cave is that Forlorn Muskeg is hopefully a little bit warmer than Bleak Inlet. Not that just the world has gotten so cold that I am cold everywhere, which the fear of poor equipment, which would be a fear hopefully is unfounded, because it's just, I think I pretty much have about as good of equipment as I can get. I shouldn't need the coal for traveling through Forlorn Muskeg, so I'm going to go ahead and leave a bunch of fuel here so that we can travel faster. And yeah, for it being the middle of the night, it is cold, which is expected, but unlike the Bleak Inlet, where we probably would have been 3 echelons down in this weather, we are only -2 echelons down. So, not going to be much to say about this walk back to Coastal Highway. We take routes that we've pretty much taken before. Going to walk ourselves over probably to either Trapper's Cabin or the camp office, and then from there probably take an adjusted tour from there over to Coastal Highway's entrance, basically the top of the ravine. We're going to travel to the top of the ravine. And from there head down to our fishing spot, which should still have fuel from where we prepared fuel before. So the next episode or so is probably just going to be a bunch of walking and responding to environmental concerns as they arrive. Yeah, based on the food, the calories in our character's stomach here, I'm probably going to take the detour over to Trappers, because I know there is, I think, moose meat at Trappers. Whereas I'm not sure if I've left any food at the camp office. Oh, and I'm definitely feeling the relative warmth here in Forlorn Muskeg versus Bleak Inlet. It is basically approaching the coldest part of the morning, towards part of the night, and we're only -1 echelon cold with the torch out. Whereas I think we pretty much had to have a fire out or be in wind chill or something to get this warm during the day in Bleak Inlet.
Can't feel my hands.
Our character's complaining about his hands being cold. Which, to be fair, in comparison to how he was probably dealing with it in Bleak Inlet, they're probably warm in comparison, but cold they may currently be. So the path I take from here to Trapper's Cabin sometimes has a couple pieces of birch bark along the way, so I'm trying to keep my eyes on the swivel for that.
Never felt so cold in my life.
Other people have experimentally tested and determined that I think the Trapper's Cabin bed is probably one of the better beds in the game as far as regenerating condition damage. Condition damage is usually something not worth going out of your way necessarily to go to a specific bed to recover it. But Trapper Cabins is just unusual, and then it's a little bit better than average. The difference that beds make to condition recovery is not a lot, but supposedly it is the best bed. Well, I found one birch bark. Doing a little bit of sprinting here, because if I spend longer sleeping, and less time taking condition damage, the condition will be better overall. And the condition's looking a little bit sorry for itself. I like to stay solidly above 50%. That's about what I take in a struggle with a wolf, using the makeshift hatchet on push to hold. Using the click rapidly to handle struggles, you might not take as much condition damage, so you might be willing to go a little bit lower than I am. Here in Moosehide. I don't think Moosehide coat's worth making for us. But check what it is. Moosehide cloak is 3.54. This is there's the bearskin coat versus the 6.5 of the bearskin coat. So yeah, it's not worth swapping off of a bearskin coat to a Moosehide coat. Maybe if you got really lucky early game, it might make sense to use Moosehide rather than... Because what, the moose is only 4 kilograms? Yeah, so it might be worth if you grabbed it early, because it's a kilogram lighter. Why do I feel like the weather just went bad? Because it sounds like the weather just went bad. Well, we're going to be sprinting to the camp office. I suppose one advantage of being in areas that have normal wolves is unlike the timber wolves, during a blizzard, they go away.
My fingers feel
They do
numb.
not spawn in during blizzards. One thing to be careful of, though, is they can spawn in when you don't see them as the blizzard ends. So the visibility can be really bad as the blizzard's ending, but the moment the blizzard's officially ended, in quotation marks, I should know, right? Then they can start their spawn-in cycles. Even though the visibility is bad, and because the visibility is bad, you might not have the visibility to see them to prevent them from spawning. Because general spawning rules in the game is things can't spawn in locations where you can see them. Objects have that sort of degree of object permanency to them. If you should be able to see them, they won't spawn or despawn. But they will despawn or respawn if they trigger a spawn check when you're in a position where you can't see them. So one thing I'm doing right now with the blizzard is I'm taking advantage of the fact that the wolves should be despawned to bring some meat from the trapper's cabin to the camp office. That's one of the reasons why I have like no problem sprinting here. Is the biggest drawback to sprinting is that you might have to sleep to regard fatigue, which I want to do anyway. And you burn extra calories. So because I'm bringing extra food with me, by taking advantage of the fact that the blizzard has despawned all the wolves, I'm not so worried about sprinting around.
I'm gonna have to leave something behind.
Yeah, when we get to the camp office, you're going to leave meat behind. A whole 2 kilograms or so of meat that you're going to leave behind. Yeah, I'm talking to our robot character here. Good old Will. Stick. Near the cabin, coming out of the mist in the fog, in the blizzard, the white in the blizzard. So we got a bunch of snares here. Which, if we were going to hang around, we'd probably set up. But we're not going to set up because we're not going to hang around here. 4 snares. Do I want to take my cooking stuff with me? No, that's one way to save some weight. We'll leave the oil. And flour. And cans of peaches. Here. Cured maple, cured maple. How's the rabbit goods? We're looking decent enough. Okay, what do you want warming up? I think the answer is not much. Didn't leave anything in here. Well, that's actually something I can do. I tend to use these workbenches as places to store things like sewing kits, so I can remember that they haven't been used. So put them on the bench, that's a sign that they haven't been used. Whereas any other flat surface is a sign that I've used them. Mice are fine. We do want to have one good sewing kit on us. We got enough of you. Are there any guts here? There are guts here. Turn you into a bit of line. So we're prepared for fishing if we show up with no line. Well, I don't mean show up with no line. I mean show up and there is no line. Have we read you? No, you'd be a reasonable thing to take along to read. Same with sewing, but not gonna worry about it. You are as red as you're going to be, even if you aren't red. And I think that's as good as we're going to get for the weather. At least as far as getting stuff done while the weather is bad. Yep. So off to more sprinting! So, the next goal is to get to the cabins out in front of the dam. At which point I will probably take advantage of the fact that I have books and well, I have a book, not books. Left the second book behind. Sewing primer would have been fine to take as well, but I didn't want the extra weight. And read until the blizzard ends.
Can't feel my feet.
At which point it will hopefully be warm enough to pass through the ravine. Without taking too much cold damage going through there.
Just want to lay down for a bit.
So, roughly ping-ponging along various different waypoints to tell where I'm going. The place I'm going is obviously at the end of the railroad tracks here, so when I got sort of confused where I was following the ravine, I took the way off that I knew would lead down to the railroad tracks when I saw it. And then the railroad tracks, obviously, normally you wouldn't want to run along the railroad tracks, in my experience, because they tend to have wolves down here, but again, the wolves don't spawn in during the blizzard, so this should be a safe run. I don't like how the visibility is changing. I feel like the blizzard's about to end. Pretty sure I searched here. Yep. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the blizzard's about to end. There it goes ending. So, the moment the blizzard decided it was going to end, I believe the wolves could start spawning back in. So luckily we were past the main spot that has wolves. Another thing we need to be on the lookout for is there may still be wolves around the cabins where we're trying to go. And we will need to be on the lookout for them because we do smell. So in preparation for that, let's get a torch out for in case of emergencies. If there is a wolf in the area that has spawned in, it will probably be homing in on me about now. Not worried about burning extra fatigue and extra calories. Okay, so I don't need to be worried about a wolf anymore. We'll eat our meat, drink our drink. And then I will take a maximum length rest to try recovering as much condition as possible. It won't go for the full 10 hours because we don't have enough fatigue. And then we'll eat more meat. Eat more meat, drink more drink. And now, in theory, we have a nice warm, well, warm by long dark standards, walk out to Coastal Highway. So I went ahead and left the meat behind, because I know there is meat at the garage in Coastal Highway, and hopefully we won't need to do any more sprinting to get there, because hopefully there won't be any more blizzards. Keep my head a little bit on the swivel in case we see any birch bark. Not getting super lucky with the birch bark spotting. Doesn't mean there isn't some, just that I'm not seeing it. We were here recently, which may be why the birch bark isn't back yet. I'm not going to go too on our way to hunt that deer. Though I was tempted. Because what we really need right now is we need more lantern fuel. As can be seen by how small the poor bar on our lantern is. I think a couple episodes up ago, I screwed up and accidentally went to sleep with the lantern on, which did consume a decent amount of lantern fuel. Yeah, with this little warmth, good late afternoon warmth in the long dark is allowing us to walk nice and far. One good walk. The weather doesn't switch. We probably could walk all the way down to the Quonset garage in one go, without having to stop to warm up. And if that's the case, this will be a slightly longer episode, because I'll hold off on ending the episode until we get to Quonset. And we're walking. Not much to do. Well, not much to talk about at the moment. We are coming up on the trestle. If you've been watching the Let's Play most of the time, you've probably already heard me ringing up before, but the trestle is one of the places where you do have to be careful. You can't just walk straight across it. There is a bit where parts of it are out, where you need to slow down and sort of follow a rail for a bit, swap to the other rail, follow the rail for a bit. Otherwise you'll fall through the hole. Well, the holes. And this is one of the few maps with definitive death barriers. So if you fall off the trestle, you will die in-game. Reposition my hand on the mouse so I don't have the mouse squeaking around as I'm trying to do my maneuvering here. And we run across there, and we cross there. And there we are, across the dangerous part in the trestle. Here's the transition zone from the ravine to the coastal highway. And yeah, in this weather we should be able to make it all the way down to Quonset Garage without taking any more damage from cold. So I'll probably take the slightly more direct route instead of following the river down. The riverway is probably better if you're dealing with high levels of cold. Because I think there's a slightly more frequency in places where you can stop to warm up. Back from my momentary muting to sip some lemonade. If you've been watching as long as I've been recording, it's probably a good idea to take a moment to take a drink. Whether that be tea, lemonade, or something else. And most of the walk here down to Quonset Garage will be mostly downhill, so we'll get a little bit of a speed boost going downhill. Various shortcuts that we can take that will speed up our travel as well. We're going to cut the corner off here. For example, I find, especially when you have the crampons on, this is a fairly safe place to take the corner off. If you were cold, you can duck into that trailer cabin right there to warm up. As well as, if you're a little bit warmer but still cold, you can go up that way. There's another cabin over there where you can warm up. Has a slightly different loot profile if you're looking for loot. We looted both locations, so in our case, we're warm. I'm just going to continue to head down to the Quonset, take advantage of the good weather. Picking up the renewable sticks that just are conveniently in our path. it's this gap in here that we're now walking through. Because the cabin I just talked about was up there, so if you were trying to really avoid cold, you could have slipped down this slope here to get to where we are now. This is probably the stretch where, if you're trying to take the quickest way down to Quonset, where you're going to have the hardest time trying to stay warm during the path. Again, in-game right now for my current character, we are reasonably warm, which is to say we're only one echelon cooling, so we got a good long period of time where we're going to be properly cold. But you, in your game, depending on where you are, you might actually be cold. And this is the stretch where you're likely to end up actually getting the character proper cold, where you start taking condition damage. Because I'm going to go up to I'm heading to the Quonset. I'm going to take the sort of hidden switch back here to go up to the next road level. If you'd followed that road, it would eventually take you down to the trailer cabins out in front of the Aurora mine, which is called so by the community because to access the lower parts of the mine, you need an Aurora going on to make the elevator work. That is a place that might actually be where I explore right before I end the run, if the rest of the exploration is done and everything is going well. Because that is a place where if you screw up, that could be a run ender. Spend too long in the mine, and the Aurora goes away and you can't leave, and you have to hang around until the Aurora is back. This is a place we could, because we're walking past a trailer cabin right here, a place where we could warm up. It's about the same distance if you'd stopped at the trailer cabins out front of the Aurora mine. And we follow this road. One thing I do need to be a little bit careful of as I'm coming along here is, in theory, we have been out of the zone, and, well, just been going long enough that the bears in Coastal Highway have probably respawned. That includes the bear that has its bear den roughly at the end of this road, depending on how you take the various forks. So we will be heading toward the bear territory, and the bear may be up, and the bear may be around where we're going, so I should be a little bit aware of my surroundings as I walk along here, just in case I do walk into the bear. I believe as far as condition regen goes, simply keeping all your condition meters positive recovers you 1 condition an hour. So this nice long walk, because we haven't really been burning any of the condition meters out, should have actually recovered me a couple of points of condition damage just by walking in what is arguably good weather. I think the probability of these cabins being up, so there's 4 cabin locations here. You can see that 2 of them are up here on this Interloper run. I think they're purely probabilistic on Interloper, so there's a chance they'll be up, there's the chance they won't be up. I may have actually lucked out by having 2 up. I think the probability is like 1 in 4. So I rolled the... There, whether you do numbers are high or numbers are low, I rolled the 1 twice, or the 4 twice on the d4.
It's dusk, so night can't be far behind.
But inversely, you could have a particularly bad run, I suppose, when you have none of them up. I could also be wrong. I might be misremembering, and there's a chance that, well, there's a guarantee that one of those up or something. My selection size, I think, with doing that sort of testing is only something like 20 big. So, big enough to start having contemplations on what the probabilities are, but not enough to have... Not enough to have perfect math. I got myself spooked by the bear. I said I should have been paying attention. I nearly walked face first into the bear. So needless to say, the shortest route to where I wanted to go was through the bear. Where did the bear go? I think he followed us for a bit as we backtracked. Yeah. Yeah, he followed us. Okay, good. So that's his cave. We can see his tracks leading out of the cave straight into our face, which caused the jump scare there, bear-shaped jump scare. He should shortly be arriving at Quonset Garage. We'll take a quick stopover at the place where I had the most recent moose kill down here, because there should still be some moose meat out from before. Have a character to nom down one of those. And a half of one, apparently. 1.5. Drink some water, and probably end the episode when we step into Quonset. Next episode, we'll take the trip out to the fishing spot and either gather more fuel, because we can use some of the coal we stockpiled there to gather limbs and branches, or immediately go to... Sorry, I'm a bit quiet because I heard the moving of a wolf and didn't want to get jump scared by the wolf, and or move straight to fishing if everything's going well as far as fuel's concerned. Okay, so I've arrived at the Quonset. This is where I'm going to put the episode break for YouTube. So if you've been enjoying this on YouTube, check back in tomorrow and there'll be another part. Catch ya later.